5,000 people, one floating warship, zero escape. For 6 months, sailors aboard a U.S. aircraft carrier live with no phones, no privacy, just steel walls and strict rules. But beneath the drills, how do they cope with months of isolation and meet their most personal needs? In today's video, we will unveil the life of sailors on U.S. aircraft carriers and how they cope behind the steel walls. Aircraft carriers as floating cities. A massive steel ship, over 3 football fields long, glided silently across the ocean. To outsiders, it looks like just another warship, but inside it's a floating city with over 5,000 people living and working together for months. It's more than sailors and pilots. This ship has doctors, cooks, mechanics, barbers, and chaplains. Everything a town needs packed into a space smaller than a mall but run with military precision. Weighing over 100,000 tons, it rivals the complexity of entire cities. Its power comes from 2 nuclear reactors that let it sail for 20 years without refueling. These reactors also produce fresh water and oxygen, keeping life going far from land. On deck, steel stretches as far as the eye can see. The sun reflects off the metal, the ship hums beneath your feet, and crews in bright uniforms move with purpose. Jets wait in the morning light as the sea breeze flows endlessly. Would you rather visit an aircraft carrier for a day or live on one for a month to experience the full story? Be honest, comment, and chat with me. But if this floating city sounds impressive, wait until you hear how much it costs and what that price doesn't cover. The hidden cost. Just building one costs about $11 billion, according to the U.S. Congressional Budget Office. Fully equipping it with jets, support ships, and submarines pushes the total past $27 billion. Including all equipment and supplies, the investment grows even larger. But beyond the dollars, the real investment is human. Thousands of sailors live aboard these ships for 6 to 9 months at a time. Their world is the hum of engines, the scent of steel, and the endless ocean. They work tirelessly through storms, cold and scorching heat, keeping the ship running day and night. There are no weekends or breaks from the constant challenges of maintenance and operations. While billions go into steel and technology, nothing functions without the sailors, the engine mechanic, the deckhand guiding planes, or the crew working deep below. Their dedication, effort, and sometimes their challenges are part of the real price. And while the cost in dollars is staggering, the real cost might be paid in sweat and risk, especially in the most dangerous place aboard the ship. Flight deck life. Often called one of the most dangerous workplaces on Earth, the deck is packed with challenges. Jets launch and land just feet from sailors. Propellers spin, engines scream, and precision is critical. Crew members wear color-coded uniforms to show their roles. Yellow directs planes. Purple handles fuel, red manages munitions, and green operates the catapults and arresting gear. Their practiced signals and movements leave no room for mistakes. Noise levels reach over 150 decibels, louder than a rock concert, so double hearing protection is essential. Deck temperatures often exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to damage gloves. Jet blasts, storms, night shifts, and rough seas add to the complexity. Still, sailors work 12 to 16 hours straight, making split-second decisions. As many say, there's no second chance up there. Behind every jet is a dedicated team working tirelessly to ensure each launch and landing is safe. But danger isn't limited to the deck. Down below, time seems to vanish in a blur of never-ending shifts and little rest. Before exploring, I have a special 10-second request for all of you listening. If you can help me in any way, just hit the notification bell and hit that subscribe button. It helps this channel so much. And if you do that, I will do everything I can to make this show even better for you. Deal? The endless shift. For sailors aboard an aircraft carrier, time often blurs. There are no weekends, no family dinners, just the endless sea and the ship's constant hum. Many lose track of the days. Most follow a demanding cycle, 6 hours on, 6 hours off, repeated for weeks. During intense operations, shifts can extend to 12 or even 18 hours, making restful sleep harder to come by. Sailors often work under challenging conditions, from roaring engine rooms to the scorching flight deck, grabbing rest in compact bunks before starting again. As sailors describe it, life feels like a clock without numbers. Days blend, marked only by meals, musters, or the rare glance at a calendar. This routine can take a toll. Limited sleep affects alertness, and fatigue builds up. Yet, sailors press on, motivated not just by duty to the ship and mission, but by loyalty to the person beside them. After working in that relentless cycle, you'd hope for a peaceful rest. But what does sleep look like in a world that never sleeps? Racks and rest. After long demanding shifts, sailors might expect a comfortable rest, but even sleep is tough aboard an aircraft carrier. Their beds, called racks, are metal boxes, stacked 3 high in tight spaces. With less than 20 inches of vertical room, sailors must carefully slide sideways to climb in. Sitting up isn't an option. Inside each rack is a thin mattress, a small light, and, if lucky, a curtain for privacy. Behind it, sailors store a few personal items, letters, photos, and essentials. This small steel box becomes their only private space for months. The bigger challenge is the ship's changing environment. Some berthings feel cold, others get uncomfortably warm, depending on where the ship sails. Sleep becomes a daily guess, too cold, too warm, or just manageable. With 30 to 60 sailors sharing a berthing, noise is constant: snoring, footsteps, conversations, and the hum of machinery. Quiet moments are rare. As one former sailor put it, you nap, and you hope your nap is quiet enough to count. Yet, in these small noisy spaces, sailors still find ways to recharge and rest. And when it comes to basic hygiene, things we take for granted on land, life gets even more uncomfortable. Think you could shower in 2 minutes? 2-minute showers and 50-person bathrooms. For most people, a hot shower is routine. On an aircraft carrier, it's a race against time and water. Fresh water is limited. The ship can produce thousands of gallons a day using nuclear desalination, but demand is high. Every drop matters. Sailors often take 1 to 2 minute showers using a method called the Navy shower. Wet, shut off the water, soap up, rinse, and out. Restrooms, known as heads, have their challenges. One head might serve 50 to 100 sailors. Privacy is minimal and lines are common. Unwritten rules keep things flowing. Keep showers short. Don't hog the sink. Clean up and stay respectful. For some, it's the only quiet space on board. Still, problems happen. Plumbing issues like clogs or equipment failures are common, especially on older carriers like the USS Nimitz or USS George Washington. Fixing a single issue can cost over $400 due to the ship's complex vacuum system. Multiply that across dozens of heads and frequent breakdowns, and the impact on resources and morale becomes clear. When entire restroom sections go offline, sailors must crowd into the remaining few, making a tight space even tighter. So how do thousands of people eat on a steel island in the middle of nowhere? Let's head to the belly of the beast, the ship's massive kitchen. The giant kitchen. Deep inside the ship, below the hum of jet engines, 93 culinary specialists work non-stop. Spread across 7 kitchens, they serve over 18,000 meals daily, including breakfast, lunch, dinner, and mid-rats for night shift sailors. To keep up, carriers stock massive food supplies. The USS Gerald R. Ford holds enough to fill 120 semi-trucks, with items like eggs, pasta, fruit, and desserts stored in freezers and pantries to last weeks between resupplies. Mealtimes are fast-paced. Sailors in coveralls line up in noisy galleys where meals rotate on a 15-day cycle for variety and efficiency. Officers eat separately in the wardroom, a quieter space with upgraded meals they pay for, while enlisted sailors eat for free. But food on a carrier is more than just nourishment. It provides comfort and routine amid the ship's demanding life. As one retired Navy chef said, "Out here, food isn't just food, it's morale." Yet, challenges remain. When supplies run low or meals disappoint, it affects more than hunger. It touches the crew's well-being. But what happens when this vital system doesn't meet expectations? When meals disappoint and morale takes a hit? When the system fails. Food is vital to morale at sea. A warm meal after a hard shift lifts spirits and creates a sense of home. But when food quality drops, morale suffers. In 2021, former Navy sailor C. Friesen shared images of stale bread, wilted lettuce, and poorly cooked chicken. On older ships like the USS George Washington and USS Nimitz, rushed prep and supply issues often led to subpar meals. Despite efforts to maintain quality, long deployments, old equipment, and late shipments cause shortages. When storage fails, crews make do with what's on hand. Some veterans recall the bread-and-water diet once used as discipline. Though rare today, it left lasting memories of long shifts, fueled only by dry bread. Yet food also brings joy. Holidays and events feature steel beach picnics with music and grilled food. On special days like Thanksgiving or Christmas, sailors may enjoy lobster, prime rib, and desserts, prepared by devoted culinary teams. These meals show appreciation and break the routine. For many, they stand out as bright moments amid the challenges and loneliness of life at sea. If this deep dive into carrier life opened your eyes, go ahead and hit that like button. It tells us you want more behind-the-scenes military stories. Now imagine going through all of this without being able to call home, check social media, or even get a quick message through. How did they cope? Limited connections. On a U.S. aircraft carrier, limited contact with the outside world is a fact of life. Slow and unreliable military email is often the only link home, with messages delayed by hours or even days. There are no push notifications, streaming videos, or scrolling feeds. Phones are generally restricted, and when internet access is available, it's limited, carefully managed, and prioritized for official use. For sailors, digital silence becomes normal. This silence can be especially hard for young sailors on their first deployment. The distance from family and friends makes the experience feel even more real. Yet, sailors adapt. Without constant internet, they rely on each other and get creative. Some of the most memorable moments come from these simple joys. They hold sumo wrestling tournaments with foam pads and tape rings, play deck golf with foam balls, and enjoy steel beach picnics, flight deck BBQs with music, games, and burgers. The ship feels less like a warship and more like a celebration for a few hours. But there's another layer, more private, more human, one that rarely gets talked about publicly. What about emotional and personal connections? The forbidden topic. Life at sea is physically demanding and emotionally draining. Long months away from home cause stress, but the quiet struggle is often the lack of personal connection. The Pentagon recognizes this, providing aircraft carriers with discrete special services rooms offering wellness resources, including educational materials on health, well-being, and safe practices. Still, sailors seek a real human connection. Port visits to Singapore, Thailand, or Japan provide brief opportunities to relax and reconnect with civilian life. Some, unofficially, seek nightlife experiences, although all remain under strict conduct rules. On board, personal and romantic relationships are restricted to maintain professionalism, adding tension as sailors share limited living spaces while managing natural emotions. Beyond discomfort, this is also a safety concern. Navy ships report some of the highest rates of interpersonal misconduct in the military, driven by stress, isolation, and strict rules. The Navy has responded with training, prevention programs, and improved reporting systems, but progress is gradual. For sailors, this remains a challenging and personal aspect of life at sea, rarely shown in recruiting ads but familiar to all who serve. These hidden struggles, both personal and emotional, have deeper consequences than we often realize. What toll does life at sea take on the mind? Hidden mental battles. Life on an aircraft carrier is more than long hours in tight quarters. It carries a hidden emotional weight. Sailors often spend 6 to 9 months away from home with little contact, leading to isolation and exhaustion. Shifts can last 12 to 18 hours daily, with no weekends. Sleep is hard to come by amid nonstop noise and constant work. Cramped spaces, extreme temperatures, and nonstop routines wear sailors down. But the deeper issue is a culture where showing vulnerability is difficult. Many hesitate to speak up, fearing they'll be seen as weak. The Navy has acknowledged that poor living conditions, high demands, and leadership challenges contribute to mental health struggles. Some sailors resort to unhealthy coping methods, including alcohol use, which further complicates recovery. Behind the uniform is a person carrying more than duty. There's fear, homesickness, and emotional strain. As one sailor said, "Sometimes you feel like you're losing yourself out here." That feeling is shared by many. And yet, even in the toughest conditions, sailors find moments to laugh, bond, and celebrate. Want to know how they turn steel decks into party zones? Steel beach picnics and strange traditions. Even on high-pressure aircraft carriers, sailors find creative ways to lift their spirits. Beyond food and sleep, they need laughter, friendship, and fun, even at sea. A favorite tradition is the steel beach picnic. The flight deck turns into a giant barbecue, with grills, burgers, and music. For a few hours, the ship feels more like a backyard party than a military vessel. Sailors also hold sumo matches in the hangar bay, wearing padded suits and laughing through friendly bouts. Weightlifting contests draw cheering crowds, showcasing the crew's strength. Volleyball, golf putting, and even supervised ocean swims turn the massive ship into a floating playground. In 1986, sailors staged a light-hearted pig race featuring pigs decorated in red, white, and blue, a memory still fondly shared today. Music is another outlet. Concerts and dance sessions, whether live or through speakers, bring people together. Ship stores sell keepsakes like embroidered caps and naval-themed t-shirts. Despite the hard work and tight quarters, these small joys keep morale alive. For many sailors, it's the laughter and shared traditions that leave the deepest mark. Like learning what goes on at sea? Support the mission by subscribing and turning on notifications. We bring you the stories most people never hear. But eventually, even the mightiest ships come to an end. What happens when the journey is over, both for the vessel and those who served on it? The aftermath. All ships, no matter how powerful, eventually retire. Some become museums, but most are scrapped. The USS Kitty Hawk is a well-known example. After serving from 1961 to 2009, including missions in Vietnam and the Gulf War, it was sold for just 1 cent in 2021 and dismantled in Texas. For sailors, losing a ship like this feels deeply personal, more than just the end of a machine. Life aboard aircraft carriers leaves lasting impressions. The physical demands, the constant noise, the restless nights, and the strong emotions tied to deployment and shared hardships. Yet sailors often keep small reminders of their time at sea. One of the most iconic is the engraved metal lighter, simple, sturdy, and often marked with ship names or unit logos. Many have become treasured collectibles, though, for veterans, their true value lies in memory. Each scratch tells a story of night watches, brief breaks, and camaraderie on the deck. While the ships may be gone, the bonds and memories live on in the hearts of those who served. If you were deployed on an aircraft carrier for 6 months, what would you miss most? Hot showers, home-cooked meals, or something else? Drop your answer below. We're curious. If you found today's video interesting, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Your support is very important to us. Be sure to check out the next video appearing on your screen. You're sure to love the content we bring. Please leave a comment about which country you'd like us to explore next. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.